Hello traders, you're welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to be discussing one of the best indicators for scalping. So if you are a scalper, then you are in the right place. You might want to watch this video till the end. Okay, now one of the top indicators widely used for spotting quick price movements in scalping is the EMA, the exponential moving average. Now this indicator smooths out price data and reacts more quickly to recent price changes. Now we've already discussed EMA before, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to be focusing more on the scalping function of the EMA. Now, how do you apply the EMA on your chart? First of all, let us go to moving average. Let us add the moving average to our chart. But because we are talking about scalping, now usually we use two EMAs for scalping strategy. On most trading platforms, you can easily just locate the moving average and then the settings. For the settings, we are going to be choosing the 9 period and the 21 period. So let us just set the 21 period first, and then we're going to go back and add another moving average and change it to 9. So we're going to use the 9 period and the 21 period moving averages for this strategy. Now for scalping, you might want to use a lower time frame such as the 1 minute or 5 minutes time frame. We're just going to use the 5-minute time frame in this video. These time frames show rapid price changes that scalpers rely on. Okay, now how does the strategy work? One is the crossover strategy. Now, this crossover strategy works when the EMA, the 9 EMA to be precise, crosses above the 21 EMA. That gives a buy signal. For example, we can see here the 9 EMA crossed over the 21 EMA. It indicates a buy signal, it's a bullish signal, indicating potential upward momentum. And we can see that the price went up for a bit. If we had entered a buy right after the crossover, we would have caught about 20 pips. Okay. Now, as for a bearish signal, that is when the 9 EMA crosses below the 21 EMA, as we can see right here. Now, when you enter a buy trade, your stop loss, you can decide to set it below the previous swing low, or you can just decide to set it below the moving average. Okay, below the moving average after the crossover happened, if you want to have a tight stop loss, because as a scalper you might want to be having tight stop losses. So you can set your stop loss right below the crossover of the moving average, below the candle that was at the crossover, right? So that will be somewhere around here, and your take profit will likely be at the nearest resistance level. Now for a sell, you can use the same strategy for a stop loss, set it right above the candle that was at the crossover zone, right? So that will be somewhere around here. And then for your take profit, you can consider the nearest support level, right? After the bearish crossover happened, that's when you're going to enter your sell trade. Now you might also want to pay attention to the slope of the EMA, because a steeply rising or falling EMA indicates stronger momentum. For example, when you have a let us look for a very good example for the steep rising. Let us see, because we have a steep falling here. The steep falling EMA shows strong selling momentum, as you can see that the price sold for a while. If we had entered a sell around here, we would have caught about 40 pips. And remember, this is the 5 minutes time frame. Yeah, imagine catching 40 pips on the 5 minutes time frame, right? Now, let us look for a good example for the buy. Okay, we can see that, okay, this is more of gentle though. All right, we have somewhat like a steep rise in here. We can see that right after the crossover happened, we had a steep rise in EMA. This indicated strong bullish momentum. So would have entered our buy trade right after the crossover, stop loss below the swing low or below the candle that was just at the crossover point, and then take profit would have been at nearest resistance, or we can wait for a crossover in the downward direction, because you can either use your support and resistance levels for your take profit, or you can decide to use the inverse of the signal from the moving average. So for a buy trade, you might want to wait for a bearish crossover as your exit signal. For a sell trade, you might want to wait for a bullish crossover as your exit signal. You can also use other indicators for extra confirmations. Okay, now in strong trends, the price often bounces off the EMA lines. As we can see, this was a strong trend. You can see how price was constantly bouncing off the EMA lines because the EMA acts as a dynamic support and dynamic resistance. Usually, the EMA acts as dynamic support and dynamic resistance. So you might want to watch for these bounces as entry points. Like if you want to open like multiple trades in the same direction, you might want to use these bounces as good entry points. Like if you want to have multiple positions opened, right? These are like good entry points each bounce. Okay. Now, when you are using the EMA for scalping, remember that it is very important that you combine with other tools for extra confirmation because the EMA works best when combined with other confirmation tools. For example, you can decide to use the RSI. Let's just add it to our chart. You can decide to use the RSI. For example, we can see that because the RSI is a momentum indicator, gives us overbought and oversold levels. We can see that right at this point, the price was in oversold. The RSI was in oversold territory. And right after it crossed over from the oversold, we can see that a bullish crossover happened on the MAs as well. So we would have used this as a confirmation that this bullish move is valid, right? So we would have entered our buy, set stop loss, a tight stop loss right below the moving averages, right below the candle that was exactly at the crossover. And then for our take profit, we would have waited for bearish crossover to happen, or we would have waited for price to get the nearest resistance. And you can see that right after this bearish crossover happened, you can see that price had the RSI had already begun to decline from the overbought zone. So that was like an extra confirmation. Okay, and you might also want to use price action as well. Look for candlestick chart or candlestick patterns or chart patterns that can give you extra confirmation for your trade decisions. Okay, that's also very, very important. Now, you as a scalper would want to exit your trades quickly, right? A scalper makes quick trades. You might want to look for very, very quick trades, just catching small price movements, a lot of them. Okay, so scalping is all about fast trades. So be prepared to exit your trade if the EMA crossover happens. If you enter a buy right after the bullish crossover, make sure you exit after a bearish crossover occurs, right? You are a scalper, so you are looking for quick trades. Okay, now risk management is a very, very important thing to observe. Always manage your risk by setting a maximum percentage you are willing to lose on each trade. For example, you might want to risk 1 to 2% per trade. Yeah, you can decide to set your own percentage depending on your tolerance and your risk that you want to take, right? This can be done with manual exits, or you can decide to use your stop losses based on recent price action. So you can like calculate the amount, like the percentage of your account that you want to risk, and then you do the pips calculation, and then you know what lot size you're going to use. That will determine where you're going to set your stop loss, right? If you are risking 1% of your account, for example, you have to like calculate to know how much 1% of your account is going to cost, and you know what lot size to use to enter that trade so that you can set the stop loss at a good position. Okay, now, by using EMAs in conjunction with price action, you will have a clearer picture of short-term market trends and can make quicker, more informed scalping decisions. So basically, this is it for the scalping. The EMA is a very widely used indicator for scalping. The 9 EMA and 21 EMA, very used for scalping. Okay, so I hope you found this video insightful. Kindly like and share, and also subscribe for more trading insights. Cheers and happy trading.